So welcome everyone to another Venari podcast, and I think this is a really cool subject and something close to my heart that we're going to be talking about today. So let's crack on. Do you want to introduce yourself, Joe, and introduce this fantastic company for which you're working?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Joanna Alnion. I am a director at WIHTL, or Women in Hospitality, Travel and Leisure. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today and to tell you a little bit more about what we do. We are essentially a members organisation, and we bring companies together, and our mission is to improve representation at leadership level and across all levels actually, but a leadership level of women and ethnic minorities across our sector globally. And we have a mission to positively impact 5 million people across the globe by 2025.
There's so much appetite to address these issues, and there's so much talent in our industry, and that biggest challenge that you've got, which I feel you are best placed as any company that we've spoken to actually help bring that together. The next challenge is really, can we get enough organizations knowing who you are? What successes sort of do you attribute yourselves to more recently? Like, what are the things you're most proud of achieving? Like, what should people be taking note of?
Most recently, I think our biggest achievement is that through COVID, we actually grew our reach.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And we increased our membership. We really reacted to the needs of the industry, because in the beginning, when obviously the pandemic hit, we thought, what do we do? And we knew that what we could do was bring companies together to share and work together, because everyone was fighting in fog. So we're massively proud of the fact that we've been able to increase our impact despite a global pandemic.
I'm still incredibly impressed by the brand association you've got, by the organizations that are clearly keen to be a part of this. And there seems to be no shortage of appetite for you to add to that list as well. And I know we're helping in respect of sort of bringing in some potential new influential contacts for you and clients. But I think that to me is almost your biggest success. It's such a statement of intent to have the companies that you have on board already.
It truly is driven by action and not just the talk.
No, I'm glad you said that, because I think in my industry, there's a lot of companies that sort of are proud to boast kind of methodology that approaches, diversity, inclusion, and trying to make shortlists have a high representation of females, for example. But to me, that should be the expectation, full stop. The real, sponsoring companies like yourself is kind of great to be part of that. But as you've well seen, I think there's a far more active role companies like us can play. Can we get the global industry actually to understand what best practice looks like, and can we point to the companies that are doing it well, but help the companies who aren't doing it well actually understand how to start forming that journey? And different parts of the world are in very different stages of the evolution of this. That's the biggest challenge I have when working with my clients who talk about what they're looking to achieve, but when you actually add the criteria of the things they're looking at when it comes to their hiring agenda, you suddenly think it's very difficult for them to actually achieve diversity and inclusion in these very difficult positions they're looking to fill, if they don't actually have a very good sense of why they're doing it, how they can do it, where they can get the advice from. And you've got some fantastic people involved with Whittle. I mean, do you want to talk a little bit about kind of the people you've been able to get engaged with the programs and the project? Because for me, that's another real milestone. Is you guys are partnering with some very influential people.
And we're very fortunate. We have an incredible companies that help us, support us on a daily basis. So we work, for example, we work with Virgin Atlantic, we work with IAG. From the aviation, we work with EasyJet. We work from kind of a little bit wider, we work with McDonald's. From a UK perspective, we work with lots of restaurant chains, Nando's, for example. We work with Deliveroo. We have a really good range of businesses, because, as you say, everyone is in their own place, in their own part of the journey, and globally that does bring challenges. One of the cornerstones, not to get too technical, but one of the cornerstones of great practice is data, and that is a challenge in many countries from a legislative perspective, but also from a cultural perspective as well. So there's really, and it's about learning together. I know that sounds a little cliche, but it really is, and it's about learning together and taking best practice.
Do you find there's any sort of subsectors within our industries that are better or worse? Like, have you seen industries that you're sort of more concerned that they're either not addressing it, or maybe they're starting from a lower point of diversity inclusion?
No, I don't think so. I think there's best practice in every part of the industry.
There's definitely elements within sort of the engineering side of our industry that are more male dominated. And, we've talked a little bit about how this is not for women. This is for men to be involved as well, right? These companies that I think sometimes when it's an easy excuse of, well, we're a very male dominated industry, or we don't really hire many female engineers. I think that in itself is an opportunity, because if we can get the men involved in schemes like those that you run, which I know you're really keen to drive sort of male participation, so I'm sort of hopeful that we see that kind of coming through as an improvement. So final thing I wanted to talk about, which I think is a really cool way of people engaging with each other, and you guys being the aggregator of these introductions, is putting female executives in a position of mentoring, those up and coming talents. How does that work? You call it the bite-sized mentoring program, right? What does actually that mean?
So we created this I would say just before the pandemic. So just before that time, because we know that mentoring is a huge asset and accelerator of someone's development. Mentoring programs tend to be quite formal, and they tend to be quite long in time. They can be between 6 and 12 months when you're looking at a structured program. And that's not for everybody. And also, either from a mentor perspective, time and capacity, or from a mentee perspective, you have to be part of that. You have to be part of a company-wide talent plan, or you have to be, there's a queue. But we thought there is definitely a need for more flexible, shorter relationships, mentoring relationships, where it's just organic. And but you might have a particular thing as a mentee you want to talk through a senior person with. You don't need 6 months, you just need a couple of conversations to talk it through. So we created Bite Size, which we run through a mentoring platform. And the idea is that as a mentor or as a mentee, you go onto the platform, you create your profile, and you can pick your mentor. So you just send them a message and say, I would love you to mentor me, and vice versa. Mentors can pick mentees and say, this person, I could really help them. And it's up to a maximum of 3 sessions. So you don't have to commit to any more than 3. If you decide to go beyond that, that's up to you, and you can take that beyond and wider. And it just means that you interact with people you may never have come across in your career.
From the people we've spoke to, has been so encouraging.
And I think the feedback we had, was, and I'm going to be really honest and candid with you now, James. We started it just before the pandemic, and then obviously the pandemic hit, and we were doing other things. And so we came back to it because we did a quick poll of the people that used it and said, okay, well, let's come back and see. And it was so positive, the feedback, so positive. We thought, right, we really need to build this now. It's a great asset to what we offer. And it has, and the feedback has just been incredible. So that's why we're really putting a lot.
Attach a link to this podcast so people can access it. But I would really encourage anybody listening, if you want to be a mentor or you want to be menteed, this is the place to come and find it. I think for me, this is actually one of the most potentially impactful aspects of what you guys do, because it sort of is without borders. It's without much financial commitment. The individuals themselves can take it upon themselves to become a mentor or a mentee. It's really easy to do. So I'd really encourage people to sign up, and I certainly think you won't get anything short of a lot of positive feedback when you next do the feedback sessions, because it's a really exciting, and there's nowhere else, particularly in my industry in aviation, there's nowhere else to go. If you're a talented airline executive in South America right now, and you want to be mentored by somebody in Europe, this is the way to do it. So, well, look, thank you so much. Really appreciate the insights today, and very much looking forward to continuing to be a partner to you guys and helping in any ways we can, and very much being a partner to the leadership program this time around as well, which I'm very excited to be one of the to be our first year supporting you, right? So I'm looking forward to learning. I'm selfishly looking forward to joining on a couple of the sessions and really and really learning myself as well, because this is an industry I'm passionate about, and I thank you for all the work you guys are doing and continuing to raise this important issue.
Thank you, James. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's great to have you helping us with the program. Thank you.